Hello everyone, this is me Junior Maema. Today I'm going to focus on employment discrimination and how it is impacting the life of LGBT refugees. As you all know, it's completely okay or legal to fire someone in 32 states of the United States because of their sexual orientation and gender identity. There's a law that is still lacking Congress approval, or that's depending in the Congress, that would outlaw discrimination on the ground of sexual orientation and gender identity in the federal government, like a federal law. It's called Employment Non-Discrimination Act. It's still pending. Um, but I'm going to focus more on how it's affecting the life of LGBT refugees and asylum seekers. LGBT refugees and asylum seekers, especially, let me talk about LGBT refugees because they are the ones who are allowed to work as they arrive in the countries. So, LGBT refugees are allowed to work as soon as they pass through the officer of the Department of Homeland Security at the international port of entry. As soon as they get into the country, they are allowed to work until they wait for the work permit, or they wait for other paperwork to be there for them. But they are already allowed to work. So they have to they have to they have to get some government benefits only for 8 months. So after that 8 months, they are on their own, which means they have to work and try to make things happen in their life. Because this is a capitalist country where if you don't have money, everything becomes impossible. Everything becomes hard for you to make it. So that's why LGBT refugees are allowed to work as soon as they arrive, because they arrive with the legal document. They arrive with legal documents, so they're allowed to work. So how now employment discrimination across this country is affecting LGBT refugees? See, LGBT refugees can't move to a state where they can still be fired for before they are, because LGBT refugees have to wait as soon as they get into the country. So they cannot go to a state where they'll fire them immediately as they find out their case. So even though they get into states where it's illegal to fire someone because of sexual orientation and gender identity, discrimination against LGBT people is still out there in the workplace. It's still out there. I'm going to talk about my experience. And since I've arrived here as a LGBT refugee, I was resettled to the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. So, since I've been in the country, I went to a job training, which after my job training, I got a internship with the housing facility for elder people in San Francisco, which is called Mercy Housing, as a front desk clerk. Through my internships, I learned to interact with customers, so it's helped me to gain all the customer services skills in order to work. So I gained the skills, and through my school, as I was graduating, I got a part-time job with the Gems at the baseball stadium as a cashier. So through the job that I'm doing, I'm facing constant harassment. Maybe probably it's because of my gender identity, my gender non-conforming, because I'm gender non-conforming. I'm facing constant harassment compared to other people that I'm working with who are not gender non-conforming. So, and then while I'm still doing my part-time job, I'm not sitting back because the living expense in San Francisco is way too much expensive for the little money that I'm getting from this part-time seasonal job that I'm doing. So I've been applying for many other, reaching out to LGBT jobs there, and I was scheduled for an interview with the department store um, as a secretary for jewelry and stuff. So I went to my interviews. As soon as when I went to my interview, I met the lady who had to interview me. So as soon as she saw me, she was like, "No, I'm not waiting for you. Maybe another person is going to do the interview." So the other person did the interview, and she was like, "Okay, we are going to call you. Even if we cannot get you the job that you apply, we can still hire you for a different job." So I wait for them to call me. They never call me. They call me after a week for a job that I don't even have the skills. So I apply again for a different job with another department store. I went for my interview. When I got to my interview, the same things happened. The lady was supposed to interview me, say, "Oh, I'm not going to interview, you're not the person I want to." She asked me first, "Are you junior?" Which I said, "Yes, I'm junior." And she was like, "No, I'm not the person who's going to interview you, another person who's going to interview you." So there was another lady who came after me. She got interviewed, and probably she got a job that I applied. So they ended up doing another interview with me later on that same afternoon to tell me there's a restaurant downstairs where they're looking for food prep, which is a Mexican restaurant, for me to go and work there. That was not the job I applied for. That was not the skills I was my skill. My skill was interacting with customers. Even the job that I'm doing now, um, cashier, and I'm interacting with customers. My skill is not to sit back there and hide myself. My skill is to reach out to people. So those are just some of the examples of the discriminations when it comes to being LGBT refugees. Discrimination is still there. It happens because of sometimes because of your origin, because of your race, because of your sexual orientation, gender identity. That's why sometimes when you fill in the employment application, sometimes they ask about your ethnicity. Are you black, African American? I choose not to respond to those because some companies or some people can still use it as a way to discriminate against you. Simply because you are black, some company will not going to hire you. You know. So that is why I sometimes choose not to respond to some of those questions. And then all of like LGBT refugees and asylum seekers, some of them don't choose to come here, and or don't didn't expect to be doing what they are doing or the job that they are doing here. Some of them they have their businesses back home in their countries. Some of them they were in university. Some of them they were doing things in their own country. They're to leave all of that to flee because of who they are. Because some people were planning to harm them, to kill them, simply because of being LGBT people, simply because of being gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender. People can be killed. It's in 17 countries around the world. Some people can still. It's a crime to be who you are. You know. So what I found is in Western countries, the LGBT community has become very complacent to the reality in other countries, to, to the fatality that is going on in other countries, because they believe that as long as they are fine in their country, that is okay for them. But they forget that we are citizens of the world. I am Congolese, but today I might become American in 5 years' time. It means we are citizens of the world. They can be American, they can decide to go live in Russia, they can decide to work in Russia. What will happen to them as soon as they get there? Are they going to be protected under the laws of those countries? Or are they going to be harassed? Or are they going to be beaten up? So, like in my case, I was studying law in my home country in Congo. I could become a minister in Congo, a minister of justice, if I was not gay, and travel to the US and go back whenever I want, or travel to Europe whenever I want. But I had to flee because I couldn't live openly gay in Congo. And even if I could become a lawyer in Congo, who is going to seek assistance to a homosexual lawyer in those countries? People see you as a sexual orientation. People don't see the skill that you have. People don't see what you possess. They just see you as a sexual orientation or gender identity. You know? So, like for me in my case, what I'm planning, these are just looking for job, looking for a way to sustain yourself with your basic needs, have short-term goal, but I have my long-term goal. If you live in a state like California for 1 year, you can be allowed to go back to college, and I can probably get a grant or a scholarship and finish my law studies and become a lawyer, study international law, begin working with international organizations. Or later on in life, when I retire, I have my law firm and become an immigration lawyer. Start helping people who are dealing with their problems, with the integration, with paperwork. Because when your life gets better, when you reach a certain level of self-actualization, it's the time to start helping harder. It's the time to start paying forward. It's the time to start reaching out to harder. That is that is how people who fought for LGBT rights in the Western country can be happy. That's how Harvey Milk can be happy because he fought and he died for who he was to free other people. But those people are not giving back. Those people are becoming complacent to the struggle of people who are getting in, who are fleeing danger in the country, who are trying to reach safety, and as soon as they get here, there's no support. There are even people here who are struggling with homeless LGBT youth who are kicked out from their families, conservative Christian family, because of religious rejection. And they go out on the streets and crash because there's no support. There's nothing available for them. How are they going to make it in life? We all, at some point in life, need help. No one in life can say they made it by their own without any help from people. We all needed help at some point in life to make it. So, once again, I'm appealing to you guys, to the LGBT community, to start really trying to be there for our brothers and our sisters who are really struggling, who are still trying to settle down, to fit in, who are still trying to make it in life, to have the opportunity to make it in life. I applied for an internship with Employment Discrimination in the United States. It's a paid internship with Out and Equal, which is an organization in San Francisco. So I'm still waiting for them to get back to me because I really want to focus on that as well while I'm still looking for a job to try to do something about it because it seems as if people are just sleeping. People are celebrating same-sex marriages, but people can still be fired for being who they are. People can still be just fired because they get married today on Monday they're fired. So let's all start working together to be the change that you want to see in the world, to make change happen. Thank you very much. Enjoy your Sunday. Bye bye.